establish an open application period for available licenses. The Commission will create application pools for dispensary licenses based on congressional districts as existed at the time of the rule implementation to ensure that dispensaries are distributed equally throughout the state. A dispensary license will only be valid for the designated congressional district and cannot be issued in another district, so you can't move from 4 to 2. No individual shall have interest in more than one cultivation facility and one dispensary. And F, in accordance with Arkansas Medical Marijuana Amendment of 2016, there shall be no more than 4 dispensaries in any one county.
So I guess we start with
The number.
of dispensaries.
Well, it's got to be a,
Equal amount.
yeah, it's got to be divisible by 4, so
28.
I was thinking 28. I guess the question, and I didn't seem to have it, is I had taken a look at some of the population and was actually seeing if, do we want to stick with the 4 congressional districts, or do we want to break it down further into, I mean,
Now,
I
we would
looked
have
at-
to ask if we can do that, because this is in the amendment, how it's broken down, so.
I
The
don't think
amendment
it
only
is.
requires 20 to 40, and no more than 4 in any one county.
Right.
The congressional district distribution was based on the idea of ensuring a geographically diverse number of dispensaries that was based on population. The issue with breaking it down further is because the maximum is 40. You can't even get to 1 per county, and so you have to find a way to draw lines that will make 75 counties divisible by the same number of the 20 to 40 dispensaries.
So we have 75 counties, and you're proposing to distribute them equally, or or divide it by county?
It was effectively trying to look at kind of, at some point, it's needs-based, based on population. And so you start looking at, the other problem with congressional districts is you start breaking up counties. So you do end up with weird anomalies, like if you look at Sebastian County, you've kind of got 2 different districts in Sebastian County alone.
But you can't have 2 cultivation facilities in the same county, right?
You can have
You could
up
have
to
up to 4.
Up to 4.
dispensaries.
Dispensaries.
But the problem would be you could have 2 from Congressional District 3 and 2 from Congressional District 4, all in Sebastian County. Which is okay. It's just, are we moving them around? I think my goal was to say, if we're gonna have the dispensaries, they ought to be as regional as possible, so that we don't end up with a big hole. So if somebody's somewhere, they've got to travel a long way.
I guess I totally agree with you on that, but I guess I would look at it as, particularly if they're pushing us on the time, I think we gotta have that. I mean, and I think if we get to where we're doing the merit, we're looking at applications. I mean, if we get 20 dispensaries trying to be in Pulaski County, well, obviously only 4 are gonna make it. So that defines that as is, but I think it'd be incumbent on us, and maybe instead of having to modify all this that much, we could go with this and realize that when we get to the merit-based, geographical spread or population centers, we can add that in there. Or, I mean, we could change it here, but we could also address it probably more, definitively as we look at the applications, and we want to make sure we get, we're going to want them from Texarkana to Jonesboro to wherever. I mean, we're going to want them geographically diverse in the city.
I guess the question is,
So
I
what
don't
would,
know that this is set up to be merit-based in the dispensaries.
But I mean, we're going to put, maybe you don't call it merit, but we're going to have to, we're going to need to put them where they're needed. I mean,
how does a dispensary decide where they get their product, or from what cultivation facility?
They're not limited.
They're not limited, so you can have, so you can have one cultivation facility that has the best product and the other 4 that doesn't, and then all of them can go. So it depends on marketing and product, and I was just wondering.
I mean, I think one of the issues that we've got is they don't necessarily have to be regional to the cultivators.
Obviously, because they're decided.
Right, they can
that
go,
be
they can go anywhere,
Yeah.
but, and I'm okay with using the congressional districts, I just think that the thing that we ought to be aware of is if you could end up with a huge hole. I mean, if
So
you just look at.
that would be on us. I mean, I think we didn't do our job. I mean, I just think that when we start looking at the applications, we're gonna have to figure out.
But I don't know that it's set up that, sorry.
Just a thought, if it's set up right now to do it a lottery, so that you're not gonna have control over where they go. But if,
Well, how can you not, if you have to have them in each congressional district?
well, you'll do a lottery by congressional district. But the point is, so let's say you hold the lottery and they all end up in, I don't know, pick a city or pick a county. Well, there won't be more than 4. Let's say that 4 end up, however
Special
many,
county.
all 4 end up in one county. All 4